magandang gabi po sa ating lahat and welcome po sa Usapang Hobby. Ako po ang inyong lingkod na si SILVERGE'S. So ang ating magiging special guest for tonight ay wala nang iba kung hindi si Mr. Rhyan San Pedro. So kanyang ibabahagi ang kanyang istorya sa kanyang hobby journey and as an entrepreneur. So before we start, huwag kalimutan na mag-subscribe sa aking YouTube channel, Verge Kevin Umali, at huwag kalimutan na pindutin ang notification bell para maging updated kayo sa mga upcoming kong toys, Gunpla reviews, or Usapang Hobby episodes. And also, don't forget to follow my Facebook page, SILVERGE'S Toys and Gunpla Family. So, wag na natin patagalin guys. So, invite na natin si Mr. Rhypla Builds, Mr. Rhyan San Pedro. You can share this one sa mga toys or Gunpla groups para maging aware din sila or mapanood nila yung podcast. Hello, sir.
Hang on a sec. Wait. Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me now?
Okay, dinig na. Kasi I wanted to try yung Bluetooth headset ko pero it doesn't look like it works pag live.
Yan, so
Good evening po. Good evening, Philippines.
So, anong oras na po dyan, sir?
12 past 10.
Okay. So, sir, good evening po sa inyo, sir. This is Usapang Hobby and I hope po na ang ating paksa or topic na mapag-uusapan is ma-enjoy nyo po at marami pong matutunan ng ating mga viewers, especially po sa mga entrepreneurs like you na talagang sumabak or nag-try na mag-establish ng sariling hobby shop.
Salamat. Pero medyo pagka my Tagalog medyo it's a bit rough. So for sure basta Tagalog tanong mo, I'll try to answer in Tagalog when I can. Pero sometimes nagyahanap ako ng Tagalog words eh. So medyo it's rough pero alam ko nakakaintindi ako pero baka ma-nosebleed kayo.
Actually, sir, ako rin, hindi rin ako ganun kagaling sa English, kaya quits lang tayo.
So, okay lang. Basta, I'm relaxed. Anything goes na I'll try na mag-Tagalog, pero medyo, as I said, medyo a little bit hard nga.
Okay. So, sir, to start asking you some questions, sir, pwede niyo po ba ma-exhibit po ang inyong mga Gundam model kits po sa inyong store? So, pagkakaalam ko, sir, ang inyong shop po is in Australia, am I right?
Oh, nasa Sydney ako. So, I think I'll give you my background, I guess, to get things started. So, pero meron kayong idea now parang how this came about. So, okay lang ba yun?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't worry.
So, ginawa ko tong shop ko na to 2020. That's the height of the pandemic. So, previous job ko, ang background ko kasi, my over the last 20 years, it's a long time, right? Na I was working for a company called Hobbyco. And sila ang distributor ng Bandai sa Australia. So ako yung gumagawa ng I used to do the events like GBWC, Gunpla Expo, that sort of thing. So rewind back na yun talaga ang passion ko na I was there since I was a teenager. Tapos yun yung ginawa ko na yun yung job ko. Then I studied architecture, got my degree, and I stayed there. So fast forward those amount of years, lagi akong I'm always in the hobby per se. So I've always been close to like Gundam and robots. I mean, Pinoy tayo, di ba? If you're Pinoy, that's in your blood. So it's para bang yung it's just a natural progression na find a job na summer job tapos I work there and then work through the ranks na I was sweeping floors as a junior, then I became their department manager, and then became their store manager, and then as I worked through the ranks, I became I'm business development manager now. I was doing all the product development now, anything Japanese hobby like Bandai, Ayashima. That was kind of the job that I was doing over the past, 20 years. So, and of course, I love ko yun, diba? So eventually, as that as that developed, and you get happy with your job, but eventually you get to the point when, you know what, parang I've had my time here, and sometimes when you're no longer kind of happy with your job and you wanna, parang gusto mo ba lumipad, fly out of you have to go your own way. Pero the crazy thing is, ako yung pabi na I'm the only lunatic na nag-open ng hobby shop during the worldwide pandemic. The worst thing that can happen, daming nagsasara. There's so many shops closing. Tapos there was a lot of things that na it's not the right time na magbubukas ako ng shop. So imagine that everyone was losing their jobs. Daming mga nagsasarang shops, and I decided I'm gonna resign from my job at this company. Very secure na job yon, very, very, very well taken care of. Pero like what I said, pagka hindi ka na kind of happy, it's time to move on. So ito ginawa ko. So I made this in September 2020. So yung shop ko, ginawa ko, I made it 3 months. I made the shop. So akong gumawa I made everything that you see here except for the floors. So that's kind of the background that, I work with Bandai and Hobbyco for many, many years. Tapos ako nga yung gumawa ng mga events. I did all of the background sort of work that I was doing with that company. So fast forward nga to 20, well, to today, it's like 18 months, and I've got myself a shop na it's my own, diba? Pero grabe, hard work. It's hard to do what I do, pero if you love what you do, and then everything comes easy. So yun ang background na how this came about. Sorry, medyo madaldal ako. I'm very talkative, yeah.
So sir, pwede niyo po ba maipakita sa mga viewers kung gaano kalaki yung inyong shop? Kasi may mga nagme-message din sa akin page na
okay,
makita yung lawak kung gaano kalaki yung shop po.
Maliit lang eh. It's small. Maliit lang. So it's just medyo humble lang kasi yung shop ko. Pero it's okay. I'll show you. Gusto mo makita?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
para
sige.
Makita sa mga viewers natin.
Alright. Ito yung when you walk in. Ito yung that's the displays. So dito yung these are all the master grades. Okay, so if you're looking behind me, all up and down, yan yung mga master grade. Sorry, my Tagalog's bad. This is all the master grades. So ginagawa ko yung I'm trying to build every single master grade model available. So parang 217. I think 217, 218 na yata of the counts. I've got about 103. So as you can see there. So ito yung entrance ng shop ko. That's how you get in. This is the entrance of my shop. There's the security door and everything. So when you walk in, this is what you see, diba? So all of that is, I don't know if you could see it there. That's all of that I made myself. And I also do cars, right? There you go. So yun nga. So that's what the entrance is, and then this is the shop. So this is all of my, of course, my stock is here, and if you have a look, can you see that? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You can see it.
And then tapos, I mean, of course, I just don't do just Gundam. I do Bandai, I do Kotobukiya, I do everything. So I also have like my cars are here, like especially like JDM cars, stuff like that. That's what I do. The showcase is here. It's got all your para ba yung mga metal builds, ganon, that kind of thing. Then ito yung that's all my MadWorks gear. So all the scribing gear is there. So talagang highly specialized in the shop though, right? So if you have a look, yan yung all my airbrushes, compressors are there. Tapos all the paints are here. I do E7. I do Krios, GSI Krios. And then, of course, you know, that's the Vallejo game color. Because I also do figure painting. So I teach people how to figure paint and everything else. So yan yung, you know, everything I've done here, I've made myself. Of course, that's the TV, large TV. So if I'm broadcasting, if I'm doing like an event here, I have a live, para bang yung live build na, and then I'll show you here. So yun yung spray booth ko. Tapos, if I have it streaming straight in here so people can see me if I'm airbrushing, right? Then that's my studio there. That's where I build all my stuff. Okay, and then that's where my PC is. That's where all my editing. That's where I edit my videos. I do have a YouTube channel which I try to you know, upload sort of unboxing stuff. And then of course my tools are all there. And then yeah, so it's not hindi naman siya na malaking shop, but it's highly specialized. And para ba talaga siyang super niche, gets mo? It's just as specialized as you're gonna get. So the difference ng shop ko is that you can try anything. So kung gusto mong what is it, try ng scribing, or you want to try airbrushing, or you want to try na anything, I can teach people. Yun kasi ang ano eh, yung that's kind of the what I do in my shop is that it's not about hard sales, diba? It's always I just have the best stuff. It's up to you to buy it, diba? I'm not always saying you gotta come here and buy. It's more the case of that. Of course, it's still small. Okay, I think when I built this shop. Kasi ang aim nitong shop na to is build Japan in a box. So if you go to a small Japanese hobby shop in Tokyo, should like this. And also, like, if you look here as well, I've got, you know, the displays, all right, all the real grades are there. I forgot to show you this and all of that. And so there's some dioramas there and stuff like that. So it's very paano ba yun? Very model display intensive, so people can sort of see it's not just selling boxes, it's a lifestyle. Para ba siyang, if you're kasi ano eh, yung hang on, how do I say this in Tagalog? Kasi gusto mo marami na customers na babalik sa'yo, because it's not about just having stock, diba? You want something na kung gusto nila, they can ask for advice. So alam nila na if you go here, you get expert advice. I mean, I've been building Gundam, not just Gundam, I do cars, I do figure painting. Kaya nga ginawa ko sa my with my gosh, how do you say this in Tagalog? Ginawa kong name ng company ko is Rhypla Builds. Ryan, my name, plastic, Gunpla, and builds. I built everything. So I built this shop. Everything you see here, I did all the carpentry except for the floors. Yun nga. So I think to sum it up, how do I say this in Tagalog? Pag ginawa ko to kasi I've always wanted I wanted it to be a shop na, you know, the shop I always wanted. Gets mo?
Next question for you, sir. Diba, ang nangyari kasi, sir, diba, before you became an entrepreneur, diba, nagsimula rin kayo sa scratch eh. Diba? So, before you became an employee of Hobbyco, ano po ba yung naging beginnings ninyo as a hobbyist? Yan po ba talagang nakahiligan nyo ng kabataan nyo, or talagang, or late nyo na nakahiligan?
Actually, no. Radio control ako. I played with radio control cars. Yung alam mo yung mga Tamiya 4-wheel drives, yung mga ganon. That's what I kind of did back then. And kasi that was the first thing na I wanted to do from the get-go. And then I got into building plastic model cars. Tapos yung mga Gundam or anything robot, that kind of thing. So yun nga yung ginawa ko. So eventually, my hobby became my job. And then, yun nga lang, di ba summer job lang yun? Right? It only was never, I know, my family's got architectures and engineers, para bang ganon. Tapos what happens? I end up working in a shop.
So, ibig sabihin, Sir Ray, dumating na rin sa point, sir, na sinabi na ng magulang mo na yung pinag-aralan mo is malayo sa pinagkatrabaho mo, pero bakit nagtsatsaga ka dyan? May ganun nang sinabi.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Sabi nila, hindi tayo nagpunta sa Australia para tumambay sa shop na just to build toys, di ba? Ganun, di ba? So, ang alam nila parang like they just go and play with, I'm just playing. So, yun nga. But then eventually, kasi I have lots of titos and, titas like engineers, architects, para bang ganon, di ba? So, and then that was kind of like the progression. If everyone's that, then, di ba, ganun the thing. So, you just do whatever everybody does. So, ayun. Tapos, like I said, I got my degree sa architecture, but I decided na magstay ako sa hobby ko. Like, yun nga, I said, I was there, 14 years old, nandun na ako sa hobby ko na ako yung nagtatapon. I was the one doing the trash. I was throwing out yung mga basura. I'm talking like, I was cheap because I was young, di ba? So, I was always working. Tapos, I had regular shifts. Kasi ako yung ako yung radio control technician nila dati. Kasi yung hobby ko. Then I started building cars, and of course, we all love robots. Di ba, Voltes 5, if you're Pinoy, Voltes 5 or Voltron, that kind of thing. That's the para bang part of your genetics. So it's either Tamiya 4-wheel drives, Tamiya radio control cars. Tapos yung ganun lang, 'di ba? So it gets the hobby becomes a passion, the passion becomes sorry, hindi ko alam sa Tagalog.
Actually, sir,
the passion becomes
ang daming bumibilib din sa inyo, sir. Meron pa nga rito nag-comment, sabi daw, Sir Ray, hiring ka ba diyan sa shop mo?
And then, one man show pa lang ito. I work 7 days a week, right? Because this is my own business, and I'm only 18 months yata I've only been open, pero it's very, very good. I'm just humbled and super, super thankful na kasi a lot of people are supporting the shop eh. Tapos also marami ding Pilipino nagpupunta dito kasi I'm in Kogarah. Kogarah is about 15 minutes from Sydney City. So, and Kogarah and the surrounding suburbs, madaming Pinoy dito. So they always come to the shop. So I have lots of customers. And then not just that, I have lots of customers na dinadayo. So they come from all different places. Na they come and just visit the shop because it's very different. And that's why I want it to be so specialized. I want the shop na super, super specialized that this is the place to go. And di naman ako nagmamayabang, pero I know how to run a business because I ran a multi-million-dollar business of Hobbyco. That's one of the oldest shops in Australia and biggest shops in Australia dati. Then now I'm transitioned to I built a small shop. Pero this is just like a proof of concept if I can make this work, di ba? So yun ang ginawa ko.
Pero sir, sorry to interrupt na rin, sir, di ba?
Yeah.
So my question is, sir, di ba, alam naman natin, sir, di ba, na kapag ang naging passion natin sa trabaho is naging profession natin, it's very hard for us to let go eh. Na kumbaga makawala sa comfort zone natin eh. Kasi nakahiligan na natin, napamahal na sa ating trabaho, yung mga tao sa paligid natin. And lalo na nag-pandemic, sir, nasabi mo nga, this is became your birth child talaga na, which is Rhypla builds. So sir, gaano ba kahirap na i-let go yung iyong trabaho para makipagsapalaran sa sarili mo sa pag-establish?
Okay, this is medyo mahaba-haba to. Sorry, talaga super madaldal ako eh. So I hope your viewers aren't going, this guy talks too much. But kasi it was very hard for me na mag-walk away sa hobby ko kasi yun yung, para bang, kasi I climbed the ranks, di ba? So, junior lang ako. Tapos, I moved through the positions. I became basically the right-hand man of the owner. And, tapos, Bandai pa, di ba? So, I'm working directly with Bandai. I'm working directly with a lot of, kasi yung job ko na, ako yung product development manager nila na naghahanap ng mga Japanese brands. So, ako yung contact ng Ayoshima, they do cars, Kotobukiya, they do Zoids, and then they, ano, sino pa ba yun? Hasegawa, and all the like, Gaia notes, and all this, I just want all the Japanese brands. So, kasi, invested ako eh. I was invested na I wanted to bring these products sa Australia. Kasi, I wanted that to happen. Pero, yun ang pinakamahirap na mag-walk away na, okay, if I leave, paano yan? Hindi ko na magagawa ang GBWC. I can't do GBWC. I can't do my events. Kasi love ko yung events eh. As you can tell, I'm very personable. I like meeting people. I'm a people person. Na yung kasing doing events with Bandai, pag umalis na ako, wala na, 'di ba? Kasi silang distributor, 'di ba? So, pero when I rang Bandai, kasi tinawagan ko silang lahat, sabi ko, look guys, I've resigned na sa hobby ko. Sabi nila, shit, paano yan? I said, are you joking? Kasi para bang I became para bang ako yung naging Gundam figure sa Australia, kasi I was the one doing the events. I was always in the microphone. I was hosting things. So ako yung parang naging frontman ng Gundam dito sa Australia.
Parang ambassador.
Yeah. So, sabi ko sa sarili ko, if I left, kasi like what I said, without divulging too much, when you start getting stressed out with work, kasi I didn't give up my architectural degree to be stressed out or to be unhappy sa trabaho. Pero like we parted in good company. Actually, my boss didn't want to accept my resignation. Pero kasi they're changing a little bit na in direction. Pero sabi ko, I didn't do this. I wanted to develop what you see behind me. So ayun, so every single cent ng bank account ko, I put into this shop during the worldwide pandemic. And the scariest part is that my parents go, sure ka ba dyan? Like, this is a big step. I mean, why are you leaving a job that's looking after you? Tapos, it's very secure. They've been in business a long time. Pero sabi ko, look, I'm not happy there anymore. It's time to move on. So I'm gonna go build a shop. So sabi ng mga friends ko, I said, I'm excited for you because, this is word for word, I'm excited for you because you know of the hustle. Pero I'm also nervous for you because sino ba naman magtatayo ng shop when everything was closing down? There's a lot of uncertainty, di ba? Tapos, I'm signing my lease. And then I walk outside, 5 shops completely closing. Para bang self-belief na lang na, sige, alam ko na. I know what I'm doing. And if you fail, then you had to go. Kasi actually, this has been at the back of my mind matagal na eh. Diba? Alam mo yung meron kang dreams na parang, I want to be my own boss. And I'm working very hard for Hobbyco already. Bakit na, what if I just do something for myself? So ayun, everything. That's the most scariest thing in your life na makita mo yung life savings mo, baba ng baba, and I'm building a shop that may or may not work during a worldwide pandemic. So, nakakatakot yun, di ba? Parang withdraw, it's all debits. Titingnan mo lang yung debit. It's like,
labas ka lang ng labas, pero walang bumabalik sa'yo.
There's no income coming in. And I'm just thinking, 3 months kasi ginawa ko tong shop ko. So, actually, kaya ako ginawa yung shop ko kasi wala na akong pera eh. Pero, di ba, if I'm a modeler,
pero Sir Ryan, di ba dumating na rin ba sa point, sir, di ba, na, di ba, for the first months, di ba, dumarating na rin yung hindi pa siya ganun kakilala, nandun yung hindi pa ganun kalaki yung eh. Pero dumating na rin ba sa point, sir, na sinabi mo sa sarili mo na nagkaroon ka ng regrets na sana hindi na lang ako umalis ng hobby ko? Dumating na ba ganun yung naging statement mo at that time?
No way. Look, people that know me say you're happier now. Like kasi mabungis-ngis ako, di ba? I like to laugh. I mean, I'm just so much happier now na, of course, wala akong break dito. 7 days a week, right? Pero sometimes my brother helps out. And my old staff members na used to work for me kasi marami akong tauhan sa hobby ko eh. I mean, everybody's kind of left now. Everybody's kind of left now and they've got different jobs. Pero on their days off, they come here and help out. So yun nga ang ginawa. So a lot of people have supported nga the shop. And that's why I know that no regrets. No regrets. I'm just happy that I did it, right? So this is like what better way can you do when you wake up, pag gising mo sa umaga, shit, I'm happy. I'm gonna go and work in my shop and of course long hours. Hindi naman, no, hindi nakakasawa. No, because kasi ang schedule ko is 8 o'clock. I'll be in the shop. Tapos nagpapack. I'm packing my parcels kasi I've got online shop as well. Diba? So yeah, www.rhyplabuilds.com.au bili na. So yeah, I pack the parcels and then I open the shop at 11. So 11 o'clock till 7 o'clock, Japanese hours. Diba? So when you open up a shop, kasi I did that intentionally so that when people finish work, they can come to the shop until 7 o'clock. Kasi dito sa Australia, lahat sarado na parang like 6 o'clock, everything's shut. Hindi kagaya sa Pilipinas na everything's open till late, or Japan till late, because in Japan they're open like till 9 o'clock. So yun nga, it's open till 7 and 7 days a week, and yeah, that's how it works. And I never get tired of it. I'm always happy, and I'm hoping like madami. I've got customers that travels an hour and a half to 2 hours away just to come to my shop. Hindi naman ako nagmamayabang, pero yeah, I've got people that travel really far away. They come here because they want the experience. And to explain it to you, you're not just selling boxes. You're selling an experience. That you come here, you go, wow, right? And it's just like, okay, you've got a big range. You know what you're talking about, and that kind of thing.
Diba? Pero sir, di ba, sa kabila na naging milestone ng iyong Rhypla build, sir, di ba? Kung meron na humahanga, meron ding mga tao rin na hindi humahanga sa shop mo.
Oh, haters.
Dumating na rin ba sa point, sir, na meron ding nagni-nitpicks or nagki-criticize sa shop mo? And how did you approach this one professionally?
Actually, I mean, look, if you're doing something good, diba, you're gonna get haters. To me, kasi makapal ang skin ko eh. Hindi ako tinatamaan yan eh. I just laugh because I've got a saying, right? Haters are confused fans. That's what I always say. Haters are confused fans because
Pero may mga nagsabi na rin sa'yo, sir, na especially may mga, minsan din, kung hindi mga Australiano, mga kapwa Pilipino mo rin ng manlalaglag sa'yo, sasabihin, ay, si Rhypla, nagbebenta naman ng hindi authentic brand yan. Ay, ang mahal ng mga binibenta niya. May mga gano'n ka ba naririnig, sir?
Yeah, and it happens kasi, it definitely happens. It happens na, hindi kasi may iwasan yun eh. You can't help it. It's human nature to hate people. Kasi ako, the way I do things is always, paano ba yan? Give more, paano ba sa Tagalog yan? Magbigay ka, sorry ha, may Tagalog ko is no good. Magbigay ka, pero don't expect anything in return. So, kasi, for example, I sponsor events na mga parang community events. Magbibigay ako I'll give out some prizes. I don't care if you mention my name or whatever, basta I'm doing something good for the community. Kasi I'm very community driven kasi eh. I always make sure na, when I'm doing things I want everybody to be included, gets mo. So it just happens na I'll talk to anybody. You put me on a party or anywhere sort of different. I'll talk to anyone, and I want to make sure that everyone's comfortable and that. So yeah, of course, I do have haters. Everyone's got haters because especially I'm a bit, you know, larger than life, diba? Pero parang like, why are you always excited? Why you always got this much energy? Ganon.
I don't think, sir, when I talk to you, I don't think you're not a cocky person. You're just enthusiastic, you're just energetic, you want to show to other people, to share that despite the trials that we're facing, the negativities, kaya
Yeah,
nating harapin yun eh. Kumbaga, hindi
yeah,
naman, kumbaga yung kakapal ng muka yung nasa lugar. Hindi yung,
yeah.
hindi yung wala sa lugar. Tama ba ako, sir?
Yeah, tama naman. So, look, I think, how do I say, people can just judge me with my actions. That's just the way it is. Para bang, para bang I'll stay in my lane. Gets mo? I said, I don't want to know what everybody's doing. Hindi ako parang, ano ba yung tawag sa how's the Filipino word? Chismoso? Or is that the word? Or parang you just, ha? Ganun eh, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Pero, I just stay in the course. Para kasi, I have a vision kasi. I have got a vision that this is my road to what I want to do. I don't care what happens around me. I just think of it as noise. Pero I'm very, very focused na, okay, ganito kasi gagawin ko. Year 1, build a shop. Year 2, which is now, create content. Tapos, year 3 and year 4, slowly expand. So, di ba, mahirap yun na parang you're so used to being kasi yung previous job ko, they're one of the biggest shops here. So, ang hawak ko, multi-million-dollar deals. Diba? Tapos, now, I'm just in a little shop in suburban Cogra. Para ba yung, it's a transition na, okay, I can't just throw money around na everything I do, I gotta think about it. Tama ba to? You know, you've always gotta be,
Decision making.
yeah, it's a lot of decision making. And if you pick the wrong move, I'm out in the street. The thing is, my thing was, try not to be homeless. That was the first thing that I did for the year 1 of building the shop. Try not to be homeless. Try not to lose money, and just and see how you go, kind of thing. Gets mo?
Okay. So, sir, before we proceed to my next question, so,
Sure.
sir, pakinggan nyo po yung mga ating nanonood. So, shoutouts natin sila. Shoutouts
Sige,
kay
sige.
Mr. Franz Mark Oreste Omega, kay Sir John Paul Santos, yung nag-request po sa inyo. Ayan. So, si Sir John Sebastian Delirium Cano, si Paul Yongkian, Geoffrey Rosendo Hilario, si Sir Jesse Lucas, Emmanuel Johan,
Coco Melon.
si Batoyski Eliasab, nanonood din si Mr. Lawrence Tapawan, si John Roy Riego de Dios, si Carlo
I know these
Rojas.
guys.
Yes, si Sir Dirk Benedict Salumbides po ng Hobby Toys Laguna, nanonood po siya today.
Okay. Musta po?
Si Sir Lion Ogre ng Toy Concord Philippines, si Madi Ibrahim, si Samuel Lee, si Ant Bendares, at saka po si Eddie Kasupanan Jr. And lastly po si Mr. Robert Orilla. Thank you for watching Usapang Hobby. So, sir,
Nice.
The next question is, sir, di ba, na the success kasi, sa success, para ma-achieve natin yan, meron tayong dapat na makuha na accomplishments. So, sir, sa naging taon na napagdaanan ng Rhypla builds, ano po ba yung mga accomplishments so far na nagawa ng hobby shop na to so far?
The biggest accomplishment, madami eh. Pero the one that stands out was yung standout talaga, the reviews. Kasi I don't ask people to give me reviews on Google eh. It's really humbling kasi I'm just doing my thing, and when you come to my shop, talagang how do you say that in Tagalog? Talagang alaga. I make sure I look after. It's a very personalized shopping experience. Diba? I think I'm good with people na parang I'll gauge whether they're the ones that some people just want to be left alone. They just want to do their thing, or some guys who want to talk more. I think that's one of my strengths, and just getting the really high praise and reviews, and you know, a lot, and also when people recommend the shop, that's probably the biggest achievement, was when somebody says Sydney, Australia, Rhypla builds, and then that's and then I also yung bang ranking first on Google, and because I think we know, diba, Google watches everything we do. So pagka ang shop is very much always talked about sa social media or in everybody's, because it's being watched. So when somebody types in Sydney Gundam, Rhypla build shows up. So I mean, that's probably the biggest achievement, is that just doing my own thing, and people are visiting the shop really.
Pero sir, next question na rin sir, di ba? When we speak of rankings, di ba, sa mga pagbibigay ng ratings for the shop, di ba? Hindi mawawala rin yung mga tao na halimbawa, you provide them the 100% customer satisfaction, you provide them the kits, you delivered the model kits to their current location in a good condition. But still, there are some modelers na magugulat ka na lang na hindi mo ine-expect na bigla ka na lang bibigyan ng mababang rankings na katulad na nangyayari sa Pilipinas. So para sa iyo sir, sa mga ganitong klaseng situation, may mga ganito ka na bang naranasan na unexpected na binigay mo naman lahat pero they still criticize you by giving low stars on your shop?
Touch wood, not yet. Not yet. So look, it's going to happen, but to me, I think the sheer numbers will speak for itself, diba? I mean, it's you can't please everyone. So my strategy is just do the best I can, make sure I get the best service, make sure that everyone's well taken care of, and if that happens, that's okay too. You know, I'm not going to be upset. You know what I mean? But that said, I think a lot of my customers are you know, very understanding that I'm just a small guy. I'm not a big corporation like what I used to be in, diba? So
Tsaka sir, di ba, to add to that, naniniwala kasi ako sa kasabihan na first impression don't last eh. Di ba, na kung mabibigyan ka man ng pagkakataon ng isang tao na makilala ka, hindi lang sa shop, pati in person, doon na darating sa point na magbabago ng perception ng tao na si Rhypla Builds pala hindi siya ganito. Meron pala siyang good intentions. Tama ba ako, sir?
Yeah, of course. I mean, even though, like, I think my sometimes can be perceived, kasi I'm pretty confident and sometimes can be perceived as arrogant, because I have no fear, diba? Like I will talk to anybody, I'll be in any situation, and no, I'm just fearless when it comes to like meeting people. So sometimes I gotta dial it down. I just gotta read the situation now. Okay, don't be too full of energy, or don't be too much like this. But that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
Okay. So sir, the next question is this, sir. Comparison. Filipino customers, Australian customers. Ano bang pinagkaiba ng environment sa Australia from the Philippines in terms of the hobby itself?
Hard to say kasi mga Filipino customers I've got here. I don't think I can compare Filipino customers there sa atin, sa Manila or in the Philippines, to Filipino customers here. All I know is that either look, I get lots of nationalities that come to my shop. Could be Australian, could be Middle Eastern, could be anything. It's such an international hobby. The thing that the only constant na alam ko, that both Filipino hobbyists and Filipino Australian hobbyists, is their love for Gundam Wing and Gundam altogether. But it's always my Filipino customers will come here, and that's kind of the difference. Like they kind of know what they want already, while the some of my customers, like, I don't know what these are. I like it. They look cool. And I just want that one in the cabinet, right?
And what about sir, Filipino versus Australian? Australian versus Filipino customers. Paano paano sila in a way mag-shopping? Paano ba yung approach nila sa iyo? Meron bang malaking difference pagdating sa
Not
pagtingin ng mga
really.
presyo, ganun?
Not really. I think I actually maybe there is na mga Pinoys will have more probably not as impulsive. They'll kind of study what they want first. Kasi, di ba, like we grow up as kids, our parents natin, they'll say, hey, don't, you gotta think about what you're buying first before just going and buying anything. While the others will just go, I'll just buy this, and this without even sort of thinking about. Maybe, I mean, there's not much difference. I mean, both Filipino and Australian or other countries, they all love Gundam. It's just the different that the Filipinos just somehow love Gundam Wing and Seed.
So, sir, may mga ganito rin nagsasabi sa'yo, lalo na pag Pilipino. Sir, may Gundam Wing ba kayo?
Yeah, that's the first question they have. Do you have the Gundam Wing? Do you have Tolgis? Do you have all of these things? So that's the first thing that they'll always ask when they come to the shop. Have you got Gundam Wing? That kind of thing. So yeah.
So, sir, the next question is, sir, di ba, na alam naman natin, sir, di ba, alam ko nararanasan mo rin to sa online, sa inyong store, na nararanasan din ng mga Pilipino, especially sa mga entrepreneurs here, sa mga hobby shops in the Philippines. Sir, for example, I will give you a scenario na halimbawa, nagkaroon ka ng pre-order na RG or real grade na G Gundam. Ngayon, sir, nagkaroon kayo ng pre-order. Down payment is pagpalagay natin na around palagay natin mga 500 or 1,000 pesos. Ngayon, sir, nag-down na ako sa inyo. Tapos, sir, nauna pang naglabas yung mall ng RG na G Gundam. Kayo, sir, next month pa ilalabas. Tapos, sir, ako ang gagawin ko, sir, is i-refund ko yung dinown ko sa inyo kasi gusto ko na makakuha, kating-kate na yung kamay ko eh. Gusto ko makakuha yung RGG Gundam eh. Sir,
Yeah.
i-refund ko na yung dinown ko sa inyo kasi may nakita na kasi akong RGG Gundam sa mall. So para sa iyo, sir, how would this impact for you as an entrepreneur? Kung babawiin lang din yung refund, sir. Tapos naka-order ka na.
Wouldn't be a problem actually. Because there's a Gundam shortage. So if you don't want it, somebody else is gonna buy it. Kasi yun ang problema ko ngayon eh. I mean, even though you look behind me, there's a fair bit of stock. That's low for me, right? And I think to me is that I've never had that situation walang that they would refund it because they, all my pre-orders, touch wood, is still 100%, right? So, and if they do, somebody will go and get it because at the moment I am blessed and humbled enough that I sell it faster than I sell it a bit faster than I can get stock in. But yeah, pre-orders here isn't kind of a culture yet eh.
Tsaka sabi daw ni John Paul Santos, sir, iba raw pala ang sistema ng Australia, mas maganda ang sistema kumpara sa Pilipinas.
Yeah. It is a little bit more it's a little bit different here. Very, very different. That's why yun nga, sort of comparing Philippines and Australia it's same but it's different, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It really, it's just completely different. And plus, I left Philippines when I was very young kasi, so I kind of don't know what it's like. At tapos, last time na nakauwi ako is like 7 years ago since I last went back there. So it's been a long time. Pero I know for sure that that the system here is a little bit different.
So, sir, member din po ba kayo ng mga Filipino groups sa ating mga Gunpla groups dito sa ating bansa or more on international groups po kayo?
Actually, no. I just run my group, and I'm just too busy. Gets mo? I'm just too busy to kind of look at I mean, of course, I'll run my Rhypla Builds community group because that's where all of my customers hang out. So I made sure that I build a good community there. I mean, that's my main focus. That's about the only group I do. Sometimes I'll stick my head with, say, Gundam Philippines because I'm good friends with a distributors in the Philippines because I got to know them when I used to see them in Japan every year. and that kind of thing. So the team from Philippines, I'm always hanging out with them every time I see them in Japan every May. And so I'll jump in their sort of Gundam Philippines group. But like that's kind of like their page to see what they're doing there, Getsmo, that kind of thing. But as far as like the actual hardcore groups, nadidinig ko lang to parang war freak lang na that everyone's fighting in there. Like I don't know, but then I've only heard it, I haven't seen it.
So sir, my next question is this, sir. Actually, this has to be addressed since na ikaw ay isa sa mga official distributor di Bandai. Marami ring nagiging marites. Dati, di ba?
Dati. I'm just a shop owner now, yeah.
Kasi sir, di ba, na nakikita natin sa social media, marami kasi marites talaga eh. Lalo na sa Pilipinas na may na-receive kasing letter from Bandai na sinasabi nga daw na nililimitahan daw ni Bandai yung mga dinedeliver daw na mga model kits sa mga ibang bansa. Para kumbaga sinasabi daw ng iba is anti-reseller daw. Yung sinasabi daw na letter para para maibalanse yung market for the Gunpla. Kasi nga daw merong nagte-take advantage daw ng mga resellers na tinataas daw yung presyo sa merkado. So para sa iyo sir, doon sa sinasabing statement na yun na nililimitahan daw ni Bandai ang mga stocks na model kits. Ano yung masasabi mo rito? Do you think is it true or not?
Well, this is the problem with i-Englishin ko na to, hindi ko to kaya Tagalogin. I'll have to say this in English. Okay, so the problem with Bandai is their own success because I've been in their factory in Shizuoka, so I've been inside there. I know exactly that without divulging too much information. I know exactly how it works. Now, with the success of they having worldwide, they have to limit stock because one is that they've got to make sure that everyone's getting a cut of product, right? Because at the moment they got it into the US market. US market is blown up, so they've got to make sure that they've got to limit the amount of Gundam so that everybody has a patch. Otherwise, actually, Japan is suffering the most because they're the ones who are having empty shelves. I'm lucky that I've still got a little bit of stock. Pero worldwide, I've been talking to like other distributors that I've worked with in the past in different countries. Their stocks, they can't even get, they pre-order, but it's always very difficult to get the full, like for example, like for me, I ordered like 48 of one of the last releases, like and then I got cut, right? I only got like 18 out of the 48 that I ordered because it's got to be distributed evenly. So that's really what happens. As far as I know, Bandai is updating their factory. I'm pretty sure they were thinking about doing that many years ago anyway. Pero it's just they just can't keep up with demand. So obviously they got to limit the amount of kits that goes to each country so it's fair.
Sa tingin mo,
because at the moment it's becoming a scalper's market out there.
Di ba sir, sa tingin mo sir, na sa tingin mo naging epekto rin ba to ng pandemic? Kasi di ba nung time ng pandemic, lumakas si Gunpla dahil walang makalabas ng bahay.
Absolutely. Kasi like that's why I was telling some of my friends. I said, how is paano ba yung business mo? How was your business during pandemic? I said it was actually quite good. Kasi lockdown kami. It's like Victoria and Sydney, mainly Victoria, which is down south. They're like the most locked down place in the world. Like number one, they were locked down for I don't know 8 months or something like that, and we were locked down for a fair bit of time as well. So everybody stayed home and everybody started making Gundam. So I was really super busy that I thought I was going to be playing some computer games and build some kits, but I found that I was in the post office 3 times a day dropping off parcels to my customers, not just Australia, worldwide. I mean, I've delivered stuff to like the US. I got customers in all places, Poland, New Zealand, sort of worldwide, because of just that people now will just buy wherever they can get Gundam. And Gunpla is the number one hobby in the world, plain and simple. And pandemic did a lot with that.
Pero sa question na rin, sir, di ba, nabanggit ko nga, di ba, na kaya nila ginawa yung ganitong patakaran para mabalanse yung merkado ng Gunpla dahil nga sa may mga iba na resellers, especially scalpers, that they're taking advantage of the price. No, for example, kahit yung GM dito halagang 300, magugulat ka na lang, halagang 600, 700 eh. So,
Wow!
para sa iyo, sir, do you think na para sa iyo, is this a advantage or disadvantage? Lalo na ikaw, you're a reseller, nagbebenta ka ng Gunpla. Ano bang masasabi mo rito sa patakaran na ginawa ni Bante? Pabor ba sa iyo?
I'm kind of neutral with it. Kasi everyone's in the same boat. Right? It's not just I'm the ones being affected. Everyone is affected. And they have to do that. Otherwise, if they were if they didn't control it, then they're not going to have, one's going to be more advantaged than others. Actually, but the one with the most disadvantage is their Japanese market. They've got no stock there, right? Worldwide is actually not bad, but the Japanese market is just like gone. So to me, I'm kind of okay with it in some ways because everyone's in the same situation.
Yun nga lang, yung kapag nag-order ka ng model kit, halimbawa 20 in order mo, asahan mo, baka 5 na lang bigay sa'yo.
Yeah, look, it's a struggle because you know what makes it hard as well? Kasi I was the one that was doing that stuff on the other side. So alam ko parang how they cut orders eh. So sometimes I like, for example, I know exactly when I look at the numbers, tapos I only got X amount. Sabi ko, okay, they cut the supply. So well, what can you do, diba? I just make sure that my order, kasi diba upside down na ngayon eh. I've flipped sides. I'm now the shopkeeper, and then I'm now talking to the guy that looked after my old job, and I'm sending him my orders. Gets mo? So tapos sabihin ko, hey, don't cut my orders. I want to get that, but then everyone, it's the same. Hindi wala akong magagawa eh. So that's just, look, kaya in here, like in my shop, people will just like, the minute I do, like, I mean, I've got my channel, my YouTube channel. When I get stock in, I just unbox it, talk in the camera. This is what I got in. And then after that video, everyone just comes running in and that's it. I mean, put it this way, I sold 58 RG high news in 4 days. 58. It's the most ridiculous thing I've seen. Yeah, yeah.
Nung unang labas?
Unang labas. 58.
And
I ordered... Huh?
Lalo pa kaya yung RG high new.
The RG high new. Yeah, the RG high new, 58 in about 4 days or something like that. So, yeah, because everybody wanted it. And plus, knowing, I think that's one of the advantages. And then, hindi naman ako nagmayabang, really ba? Pero, I just know the sales rates of product. So, I look at something that, okay, I know the numbers, that this is what's going to sell. And I bring it in. Because if you're a Gundam fan, you want stock, right? So, I want to make sure I've always got stock when the stock comes in.
Kasi sa inyo, sir, nung nakita ko ang price range ng Rhypla builds nyo, nung kino-convert ko siya, alam naman natin, sir, kapag sa ibang bansa, mahal talaga kasi may binabayaran ka eh. May taxes, may customs.
Australia is the worst. Australia and Canada is the worst because we're in a really wrong place and the wages are high, the logistics are high. We're so far away from everything. Yeah, it is expensive here. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Pero paano yun, sir, di ba? Kasi dyan kasi naiintindihan ko eh. Pero ano naman ang masasabi mo minsan kapwa Pilipino natin? For example, yung RG high nyo na naging topic din dati sa ating bansa na from 2,700 magugulat na lang tayo, ibebenta ng 4,000, 5,000. So, para sa'yo, bilang isang entrepreneur, anong masasabi mo sa ganitong tao na pinapatungan niya yung presyo ng model kit niya dahil nga daw sinasabi na hype, tapos sasabihin, wala nang reissue sa ngayon, matagal pa.
Well, for me, what makes it with me, I just sell it for whatever it is. I'll never raise my price because the demand's there. right? I just gotta make sure that I sell it at what to cover all my operational costs and everything else that happens. So I will never take advantage. But I know some shops out there that will go and raise the price because it's a hot item. Even though they won't advertise on their website, but sometimes I've been told. So I was told that they went to some shop and the price is different in their in store compared to their website. It was higher in store. So that happens. That happens worldwide. You know, it's just the demand, right? Prices raises demand and that kind of thing. So with me, it's just that the stock goes because it's priced right. I've got stock, and it's here in time, and people can come here and pick up like that. I mean, I could never compete with like the really big shops, right? Or even the bigger, company I used to work for, or the really big hobby shops here, because I'm just a little guy now. I'm just a small fish in a big pond. But my point of difference is that you're gonna get the most expert service, and you're gonna get everything you need to know when you come to the shop and try it. That's my value proposition to the people that shop with me, right? And then I can do quick, like what I mentioned earlier. I can do a quick demo. How do you do the scribe? Boom, scribe. Quickly show you how to do that. How to do airbrush? Bang, airbrush booth is always set up. And then how do you do decals? Or just anything I can just on the go. That's what people. That is my service, extra service. And then if I'm selling an airbrush, pagbenta ko ng airbrush, I'll make sure I break it down and I teach them how to maintain it. So no, I don't think nobody else is doing that. So I make sure that they're well looked after. Yeah.
And actually, sa mga viewers, para may share ko na rin, Sir Rhyan, na nung napanood ko kasi yung videos niya, yung kanyang shop, talagang hindi siya nambobola ako, Sir Rhyan, na nakita ko talaga yung services nandun eh. Hindi, ako kasi yung tipon, iba kasi ugali ng tao, Sir Rhyan, na hindi baling magbayad ako ng mahal, basta feeling ko na parang welcome ako eh. Parang kumbaga sa SM, kumbaga sa Walmart, kumbaga sa Target Center. Sa Target, yung mall ng Target, di ba? Or sa Costco. Hindi baling magbayad ako ng kamahalan. Ang importante is yung serbisyong na ibibigay ng mismong provider sa akin is sulit. Hindi na ako yung tipong magrereklamo. Meron kasing iba, di ba? Na kaya sila na may mabenta lang. Pag nabenta, wala na yung connection eh. Kaya nangyari may mga shops na nasisira ang credibility. Kaya for this man, na si Sir Rhyan, na nakita ko yung eagerness niya na hindi yung sinasabing yung benta eh. Ano mo yung passion talaga yung mas nangingibabaw kung yung kita is bonus eh. Kaya for those who are interested to know more about Rhypla Builds, you can follow his page or his YouTube channel para ma-assist nila kayo sa inyong mga kailangan at sa inyong hobby needs. So, Sir Rhyan, sir, to add to that.
Like what you said, it's not, shopping retail now is very different. Now, it's you can't just sell boxes. You need to be able to provide good service, and you need to be able to kasi long-term din yun eh. If you go for short-term profits, those customers won't be around forever. Diba? If you're kind of if you just sell it and you don't provide no service, the only reason they're buying for you because you have it. Pero if your service is good, they'll make sure that they travel to come here. Actually, I always tell this story. I've got a family. Actually, a family of 4. Mom, dad, and 2 kids. Na nagta-travel sila sa shop ko 1.5 hours once a month. And then they come back here. I mean, there's somebody closer to them. Pero sabi nila, it's easier to come back here, even though it's far, but at least para lang family outing. And then they get to come and talk to me, and I can show them stuff and that kind of thing. So, yun nga, that's the difference, is just making sure na ang service is top notch.
Okay. So, sir, to proceed with my next question, sir, di ba, nung time na nandun ka pa sa hobby ko, you're syempre official distributor ni Bandai. According din to my research, sir, na nakakasama nyo si Master Katsumi Kawaguchi sa mga events. So, syempre, alam naman natin, sir, sa mga fellow hobbies natin, alam naman natin kung gaano kalaki ang respeto natin kay Master Katsumi Kawaguchi. So, sir, kamusta ba si Master Kawaguchi sa loob at sa labas ng hobby pag
Uh,
nakakasama?
he is how do I explain this? If Mr. Kawaguchi was in his early teens or like late 20s, chick boy yan. So that's why him and I get together. Like talaga nagkakasundo kami because he's fun. And when I'm together, and he likes coming to Australia kasi when he comes here, we don't talk about his work. I want to get to know him as a human being, as a person, find out what he does. And biruin mo we were having tequila shots with Kawaguchi in one of my parties. Kasi that's been the trademark of my community here, is I always throw this big party during GBWC. So the last party I did, we had about 120 people in this restaurant. And then Mr. Kawaguchi is so chilled back. Tapos, he's a lot of fun. And he can drink. And he is really a lot of fun. And I can consider him as a friend because, like, sometimes when I was in Shizuoka, I was having breakfast in the hotel. Tapos he came down and he sat down with us. Gets me on. Like parang like shit, starstruck, right? So and then tapos nandun siya sa there's another situation na nandun siya sa Gundam base. Nag-shoot siya ng commercial. Tapos I was going up the escalator. He just stops. He just like they were shooting. He just comes in and says hello, gives me a hug. So I have the highest respect for him because talagang hardworking yan. So if he's in our event, baka may meet and greet, he will just sign until whenever. And he's always he loves Australia.
Pero sir, tanong ko na rin, dumating, di ba, syempre, nagpipirma-pirma siya, sir. Pero real talk, sir, minsan ba natatanong mo na ba kay Master Kawaguchi kung hindi ka ba siya napapagod ng kakapirma ng maraming beses?
Oh, he gets tired. He gets tired but he knows that he appreciates that people come to see him. Mm-hmm. And that's why when he's with my community and we're having a party, he's just like very chilled out, very relaxed, and he loves coming and meeting everyone. So even imagine that I have 120 people in this party. He will talk to anyone that comes up to him and is very chilled back. He's a great guy, and I've only got the highest respect for him. And I do miss seeing him because I said I was always in Japan, and because now that I've left Hobbyco, I don't get to see him as much now. But of course, COVID happened. Pero next year, 2023, I'm going back there to see them and just say hello and that kind of thing, and say, hey, I'm still here. I just have a shop now. I'm no longer with Hobby. I mean, they know that I'm no longer with Hobbyco. Actually, he said to me that he just wished me luck now with my new shop, and then all the other Bandai employees wish me luck when I opened the shop, and they're glad that I didn't leave the industry. Gets mo? Like, para bang nakakataba ng puso? Tama ba yun? Like, is that the right Tagalog word? Nakakataba ng puso na these people care. It wasn't just a transactional because they were my business partners, but they were sad na I left, and I can no longer do their events. Pero they're really happy that I've kind of gone on my own. But I'm still promoting their product anyways. Nothing's really changed, but I just love their stuff. So yun lang.
Pero sir, nai-open mo na rin ba, sir, kay Master Kawaguchi? Kasi di ba alam mo rin yan na you're very straightforward din sa magtanong minsan kay Master Kawaguchi.
Yeah.
May mga natanong ka na rin ba minsan sa kanya, sir, na may mga collectors? For example, ako, papapirmahan ko yung limited edition ko na clear version or mga model kits na meron ako. Papapirmahan ko sa kanya. Aware din ba siya rito, sir, na may mga nakikita tayo sa social media na minsan ibebenta nila yung mga unbuilt kits, tataas sila yung
Yeah.
presyo, tapos idadahilan, pirmado ni Master Kawaguchi. So,
Yeah.
minsan ba natanong mo na yun? Or anong thoughts mo dun sa mga
I think he just laughs at it because he doesn't think of himself as a celebrity. Gets mo? Like he's very down to earth. He's so genuine. He's so humble that okay, well, I just signed my name. It's up to them to whatever. And I mean that's with any celebrity, really, right? If it's signed by someone that puts value, because it was signed by somebody kind of famous, that kind of thing. So he doesn't really care much about it. He just sort of like, well, I made them some money, kind of thing. Gets mo?
Paano kung halimbawa, sir, bigyan ka ng example pinakamurang model kit, pagpalagay natin na gantang, HG gantang ka.
Yeah,
sa
yeah.
Pilipinas, mga 400 lang yan. Tapos pinapirma kay Master Kawaguchi, tapos bebenta ko 1,000.
Yeah.
Ang dahilan, pirmado ni Master Kawaguchi.
Look, everything has a price. So if somebody's willing enough to pay for it, then that's their problem. They just paid $1,000 for a $400 kit. Diba? I just like, I mean, anything that happens in this this industry or anything that happens sa parang sa hobby na to, diba? Anything that happens, hindi mawawala yan eh. It regardless of whatever community, it happens. So, quits okay lang.
And paano naman, sir, since na nakilala mo na ng matagal si Master Kawaguchi, in terms naman sa pagja-judge niya, sir, sa tagal mo siya nakasama, paano mo ba malalaman kung gusto niya yung entry na yun o hindi? Or if there's a possibility na
I know. There's a cue. So, kasi like when I do my shows, right? So the first time that he walks in, titingnan ko, he will go around once, tapos babalik siya sa mga gusto niya, tapos yun na lang. It's that quick. So, yeah. He knows. His eye is very good. So para bang lang, titingnan niya lahat, he'll go around, then he will just go back and forth. And he's very meticulous. And also, let's be honest here. GBWC is a marketing tool for Bandai, right? That's why they bring people to Japan to modify these kits. So he will always look at the ones that will be very marketable. So imagine na gumawa ka ng Gundam. It looks like a Zoid. That won't win. Right? Although if you make yourself a really nice Zaku or a RX-78 or very Gundam unicorn or whatever that's very true Gundam that's nicely framed and tells a story, that will win for sure. Actually, we've had conversations. If you want to win in GBWC, you need to make sure that you're telling a story. It's got presence like WoW. So if you go there with a small HG kit, it doesn't matter how good it is or how it gets lost. Gets mo? So if you have a fairly large kit that's well detailed, tells a story, well, you know, because when you get to that high level, you're picking at tiny mistakes, right? So and he's very good at that. So and he's got a very sharp eye. And sometimes people will question the decisions of why this one. But then that's the judge's decision. If you don't like it, don't enter. You know what I mean? They're looking for something. And every year now, because I ran the event for like 10 years, since 2010. Australia's event was since 2010. And things change. So what won last year won't necessarily win again if you try doing the same thing. So Mr. Kawaguchi is always looking for innovation or fresh ideas and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's how he does his judging, and it needs to be good, and it needs to tell a story, and it needs to be highly marketable for Bandai. And if people don't like that, well, that's a Bandai competition, isn't it? Right? It needs to.
Paano naman, sir, sa nagtanong din, sir, na minsan, di ba, sa competition, lalo na sa ating bansa, wala akong binabanggang tao rito. Actually, this is real talk. Sa mga ibang bansa, nangyayari din to. Sa official competition, hindi mawawala minsan na may mga gumagawa ng patago na naglalagay ng mga bootleg or third-party parts sa mga
Yeah.
entries nila. So may mga ganito bang naging experience si Master Kawaguchi na may na-identify siya na gumagamit to ng bootleg or ng third party?
Not in Australia. Overseas he has. And it's hard to tell too because everyone's quite skilled. So they could be using a bootleg model. By the time you prime it, clean it up, or whatever, it's very, very hard to tell. Pero in Australia, bootleg is non-existent. I know in overseas it's pretty common. Pero dito wala. It never happens here. But I know he's told me that it happens quite, you know, in all different parts of the world.
Tsaka parang observation ko, sir, di ba na yung ibang na gumagamit ng bootleg, parang akala kasi ng mga ibang entrant okay lang sa kanila eh. Pero hindi nila alam, disqualified na sila eh, di ba?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they like he does tell me that it's very hard to sort of tell, right? But at the end of the day, look, you know, it's still promoting. Let's just say hypothetically, right? If that got through and it was a bootleg, it's still promoting Gundam, isn't it? It's not ethical because you're entering stolen IP, stolen property. But then if that did go through, yeah, who knows?
Okay. So, sir, since na napag-usapan natin yung bootleg, sir, ito yung madalas kong tinatanong din sa mga fellow Filipino hobbies natin. Kaya ako inuulit na itinatanong to para maparealize ko sa mga viewers ng Usapang Hobby na hindi lahat ng nagiging opinion ng isang tao is pare-pareho. Lahat tayo may iba-ibang opinion. Nasa sayo yon kung paano mo gagamitin yung reference na naririnig mo sa video. So, para sa'yo, Sir Rai, sa tingin mo ba ang bootleg kailangan bang ipatronize? Kasi merong iba na sinasabi nga daw, when you're patronizing a bootleg, you're patronizing a piracy or nagpapatronize or parang tinatangkilik mo ang pirata. And there are some na nakikita natin ngayon na bootleg, halos nagiging presyong Bandai na. Merong iba na sinasabi na kaya nagtataas ang bootleg dahil daw wala na daw production. Wala na raw, hindi na raw magre-reissue. So para sa'yo, sir, na nakikita natin ngayon sa market na halos nagiging presyong Bandai na, tapos merong iba, especially mga tinatawag na purists, na sinasabi nga daw na hindi dapat tangkilikin ng Bandai dahil peke daw. Ano ang masasabi mo sa mga bawat statement ng tao?
That's a can of worms, as they would call it. Nah, you know, that's such a hotly, if you want to have a debate online on any Gundam forum, talk about bootlegs or real, and there's two different camps. I think it's human nature. Like to me, I would never buy a bootleg because you know it never fits together properly. Although some of them are getting pretty good, but that said, it's still using crappy plastic, right? But is it wrong? Absolutely, it's wrong because it's stolen. It's stolen intellectual property. Bandai have done all the R&D. They've done all the, and all you need to do is reverse engineer it na parang gawin kang bootleg and sell it for things. So, my opinion on it is I just don't think it's worth it, to be honest, because the quality is not there. Although some I've seen it's actually okay, but I just feel that I think everyone's always watching what everybody's doing. Just build it and enjoy it, right? Doesn't matter if somebody I know is building a bootleg. That's their thing. That you know, they can sleep well at night, and that's okay. Well, whatever. But for me, I wouldn't do it. So I think everyone, like, regardless of what community worldwide, everyone's just watching what everybody's doing. Just build it and have fun, enjoy it, and build it for yourself. Simple as that.
Saka yung mga purists, sir, di ba, na kailangan nilang intindihin. Kasi merong iba kasi talaga, sir, na porke may income, nakakabili ng authentic, akala mo kung sino makapinta sa bootleg. Lalo na sa mga iba na sinasabi nga daw na mukha nga daw mga hampas lupa yung mga nagbebenta raw, mga tumatangkilik ng bootleg. Kailangan din natin i-educate ang mga tao na mga ganun, sir, di ba, na hindi naman lahat ng tao is katulad nila na may pera eh. Iba-iba kasi ang estado ng buhay, di ba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone's got the same problems. Everyone's got the same financial issues. And if you're lucky enough that you've got money, then who are you to sort of judge someone that can't afford it and they still want to enjoy the hobby, although it's wrong, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's just my stance on it. But I just think that that's the reason why people buy bootlegs, because it's cheaper. But then, as you say, sometimes the bootleg is getting so expensive now; it's about the same price as Bandai. So why would you buy a bootleg when it's about the same price as Bandai? I mean, the argument before was always, I buy bootleg because it's cheaper,
Tsaka at the end
right?
of the day, Sir Rai, di ba, at the end of the day, na yung mga tumatangkilik ng bootleg, imposibleng hindi sila magbabanday. Magbabanday at
Of
magbabanday
course,
pa rin yan, sir, di ba?
of course, absolutely. I mean, they can sort of just call out whatever, they can sort of say, I'm just all bootleg. It's not true. They will still build Bandai. I mean, I've only built a bootleg once, and I'll never, ever, ever do it again. It's the most horrible experience I've ever had.
Yeah, so, sir, to proceed with the next question, sir, we're going to do a comparison sa iyo, sir, sa nakikita mo sa social media, kahit na hindi ka pa nakakapunta ng Pinas sa ngayon. If we're going to
Yep.
compare the builds of our Filipino community against the Australian community, ano ba ang pinagkaiba in terms of skills ng dalawang community?
Okay, I've got a good story here. I won't take up too much of your time. I've got a good story here because Australia 10 years ago, para kaming joke. We're like the meme of the world stage. Kasi we're a new country jumping into the GBWC, and yung joke lagi is like, I'll send my little cousin to enter his model in an Australian competition, and he could win, so he can get the free trip. But the last few years, Aaron Simons, our Australian representative, he came fourth. Right? So every year we were improving. So we're no longer a joke. We got skills here. And I know a lot of the people that are really deep into it. Now with comparing to the Filipino ones will tend to have the Filipino ones tend to be a little bit more how would you say it? Para ba siyang, probably creativity sometimes is probably a little bit different in the creativity, that kind of thing. And then yung bang ingenuity, right? So they're using materials that you don't have to buy. I think I saw somebody using like ballpoint pens or something like that, or just using whatever you could find around, because why would you buy, say, for example, the kotobukiya parts or these metal parts or whatever? You can just like run some random bits and pieces. I think there's a Filipino guy named Single Media Plamo, and he just builds stuff out of the most random things. Like, I've seen his stuff. I'm a fan of his. I like his work because he just builds it like a ballpoint pens or like a highlighter, and just like ano yun, yung mga plot plate was out of those load cards. Is that what you call it? Those load cards that you guys. Yeah. So it's yeah, so it's all about just hustling. I like the hustle, right? I like the hustle now. You're making something out of just junk and turning it into something. To me, that's like super creative. And I actually have more, more like humahanga talaga ako na some of those guys na para silang talagang, I'll just build this kasi I just get these random things eh.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I find that the Filipinos are. They will make use of anything they can find to modify something, which is pretty good. But then, that was also one of the things that I wish that Australia made the top 3. We were close. We were so close. So it's never happened. So within 10 years, we become a bit of a powerhouse because there's a lot of really talented guys here.
So, sir, to proceed with the next question, sir. So, may nag-comment po rito, sir, na si Mr. Yuji, na ang sabi daw niya, sir, if Bandai issues a cheap plastic material kit but low in price, that'll be nice considering the community low and high, sir. Anong masasabi mo sa comment?
I think I mean, I think they're doing that now, yata. They're using sort of cheaper recycled plastics to keep the cost down. I haven't been too into the current environment na, pero they are trying to make it sort of a bit more affordable for the masses, especially, for example, the entry grades, diba? The entry grades are just like low price.
The Eco Plus, right?
Yeah. So I think they are aware of it, that they want to make sure that they get the Gundam, not just the people that have got the means, but people to be able to try that with using cheaper plastic. But then again, it's hard to, once you start messing with the chemistry of the plastic, iba na diba? So they got to find a good balance of keeping the cost down and still make it good quality.
Okay. So, sir, to proceed with my next question, sir. So, it's all about the market pa rin. Kasi, sir, di ba, alam naman natin, naiintindihan natin na iba ang kultura ng Australia, iba ang kultura ng Pilipinas. Ngayon kasi, sir, sa Pilipinas, alam naman natin na maraming hobby shops. The competition, maraming nakikipagkompetensya talaga in terms of price range, yung availability ng model kits. So sa mga current na may mga hobby shops ngayon na nakaka-experience ngayon ng hardships because of the competition, ano yung mga sa tingin nyo maipapayo nyo sa kanila na kung ano yung napagdaanan nyo is napagtagumpayan?
Okay, it goes back to service again, right? Kasi competition is, people will get into like a pricing war, right? And let's be honest, you want to try to get the best price, right? But if they're having trouble with their competition, one is they need to make sure that the people that come to their shop, alam na talagang alaga sila. Alaga, that's a word, right? They're really well taken care of pag nagpunta sila sa shop, and make sure the service is really good. And then two is just, you got to be out there sort of, you can't just sit there and wait for customers, because you got to be out in the social media. You should be out there promoting the shop. You should be out there building your community. Because if you build a community around your shop, I mean, this is my take lang. This is how I do it. You build a community around your shop. You make people connect with each other na wouldn't normally be that get to know each other. Gets me on? Like parang you're bringing people together and they become your community, and then the community supports your shop. That's the best strategy, I think, if they're having trouble. Because you can't just sell boxes na lang right? You can't just, hindi ka lang na, sure, if you put it this way, like if you're gonna get if you get in a pricing war and you're the cheapest and you're not making any money, what's the point of you being the cheapest? And once you go broke, then they go elsewhere. So you need to find the balance of making sure your price is relatively competitive. Two is you got to make sure you have good service. And then three, you build a community and be in the social media. That's simple as that. Well, that's my take anyway.
So, sir, to proceed with my next question, sir, it's about naman po sa inyong YouTube channel. So, sir, sa YouTube channel, sir, if they are going to browse, yung ating mga viewers, iba-browse po nila ang inyong YouTube channel. Ano po ba ang may expect nilang content sa inyong YouTube channel na Rhypla?
Okay. Well, at the moment, yung official Rhypla builds ko na YouTube channel got zero content. Kasi ang ginagamit ko at the moment, I want to separate the vlogs, right? I want to separate the vlogs compared to the actual YouTube channel. Kasi if you think about it, the official Rhypla builds YouTube channel, I want to make sure that all my tutorials are there, my product reviews are there, yung ganon, di ba? Pero my personal channel, which is Rhyan San Pedro, that's where the Rhypla builds vlogs live. So for example, I get stock that comes in and I just unbox it. Parang just on the roll. There's no editing. You just turn the camera on and talk. Because I want to separate it. So at the moment, if you look for Rhypla builds on YouTube, all you're gonna see is my vlogs. All you're gonna see is how I built the shop. and just stock that comes in every delivery, because that's what I kind of do. I'll do parang shop updates, that kind of thing. But actually, just to share with you and your viewers, actually year one of me opening the shop was supposed to be I need to make sure that the shop is somewhat, I can make a living out of it, right? Year two, which is now, and it's May, I'm supposed to be doing tutorials and content and actual product reviews. So that's the next phase na parang yun yung gagawin ko next na. So year one is out, nagawa ko na yun. Tapos year two, I'm gonna go and do a lot more content. Just the questions that I get here sa shop. Now, how do you do this? I just create content that way. And tapos like what I showed you, yung my studio is kind of set up now, right? So I've got my overhead camera, the lighting's done, audio is kind of done, and everything. So that's my main focus moving forward. So yeah, that's basically what it is. So there's two channels, Rhypla Builds, which has got nothing at the moment, but soon I'll be uploading there. And then my personal channels, where what happens in the shop, my parties, day-to-day kind of stuff, that people want to get to know me in a different level, not just like Ryan, just tutorials. That's why I want to keep the two things separate. So but that's pretty much what's going on in there at the moment. Pretty much stock comes in, turn the camera on, I talk on the camera.
Yan.
It's pretty bad, like, because ano sabi nila, has the Filipino walang kwenta yata yung content ko sa I just talk, you know what I mean? I mean, you can tell I can talk. Tama ba yun? That's a Filipino word, walang kwenta. Is that right? It's just a nothing vlog. I just turn it on, but people seem to like it. People seem to have a good laugh, because you know me, I just nothing scripted. It's just on the fly. Turn the camera on, talk. I've got this stock coming today. I've got this, I've got that. Here, buy this stuff. And there's no format, but the official channel will be a lot more polished. That's why I'm really learning how to edit videos properly. I'm learning about cameras now, because as I could tell you, I'm doing everything myself, right? So that's the hard bit, is just trying to balance. It's not like I can sit in my shop all day na parang uupo lang ako, wala akong gagawin. And then, but I'm busy the whole day, so because I'm doing everything around the shop. So yeah.
Okay. So sir, my next question naman is about your family. So
Yep.
diba kayo sir, you're a product of the hobby. Is there by any chance din ba sir na ang inyong family, your son or daughter, na-impluwensya mo na rin ba siya na pumasok sa hobby?
Well, I don't have kids for a
Wala ka
start.
ba sa ngayon, sir?
No. But happily married, of course. And but look, my partner, she doesn't really sort of build anything. I mean, these are just like robots kind of thing. But there's really no one. I'm the only. Ako lang yata yung doing this sort of hobby that I know of. I mean, my cousin used to build it as well. Pero yeah, there's really no one in my family that does these things. Even extended family, no. I mean, there's a lot of architects and engineers. That's about it. But they build real houses and they build buildings and stuff. But that's about it.
Pero nangarap ka rin ba sir na sana ang maging anak ko is maging makahiligan niya ang hilig ko? Kasi ganyan din ang pangarap ng mga fellow hobbies natin, di ba?
Of course, yeah. There's nothing better than sharing it with your kids to do, and to do the same hobby, diba? Pero you know, if ever like my kids, I'll let it, I'll let them sort of do what they think. They sort of want to be doing their hobbies and whatnot. If I have boys, I'd like them to be sort of active and sporty, that kind of thing. But then definitely get into this type of hobby, that's for sure.
Okay. So, sir, ito rin yung lagi ko tinatanong sa mga fellow Filipino hobbies natin, sir. Sir Rai, how do you see yourself and your shop 10 or 15 years from now? And how do you, paano mo maipapakilala ang inyong hobby shop sa mga makabagong henerasyon bilang Rhypla?
How do I see myself in 15 years? That's a hard one. I definitely have a shop in the Philippines. I'm gonna make that happen.
Mhm.
Pero I only think in 5-year plans. I don't think I do 15. So 5 year is like by the let's just say 5 years, right? I mean I've got a 5-year plan for this shop. So the
Mhm.
5th year I would have had another second shop kind of
Mhm.
thing, and then tapos what else is there? Like to introduce people into parang to introduce people into the hobby. I'll make sure that I have like sort of build events, try before you buy, get some, I mean the workshops, that kind of thing, and kind of build up the community that way. Like again, it comes back down to community and clubs and so on. So I'd be sponsoring clubs, events, competitions, that kind of thing. But then, but yeah, definitely, maybe fifth, and eventually I'd want to go. I've got a concept in my head that I kind of want to build this to be a type of shop that's very different para sa iba. But definitely, I'd love to have a shop in the Philippines.
Mhm. Pero ano ka naman, you're into challenge naman. Okay naman. Kumbaga parang you're ready for the challenge if in case magkaroon ka ng shop sa Pilipinas and may mga ma-encounter ka na competitions sa mga ibang shop.
Yeah, definitely. Look, all I want to make sure is just that. How do I? Look, I'm just gonna say this now. If you want to start a hobby shop, make sure that you really love what you do, because this is hard work, right? I mean, I talk about this because I love it, because it doesn't feel like work. Pero talagang mahirap to. Like sometimes di ako nakakatulog kasi I go to sleep, then I wake up parang 3 o'clock in the morning. Then an idea pops in my head about content, or idea in my head na parang something to do with a shop or some sort of community engagement. It's hard to slow down, especially when you love what you do. But that's really, it all comes down to make sure that the shop is successful. I'd love it to be famous, like not famous as in celebrity famous, but when somebody says Rhypla builds, that's the go-to shop
Mhm.
that's kind of recognized, not just locally, but worldwide.
Okay.
You can dream,
So,
right?
sir, this is my last question na I
Yep.
always ask to my fellow Filipino hobbies. So, sir, para sa mga bagong henerasyon na papasok sa hobby, especially sa mga fellow Filipino hobbies natin na nangangarap na magkaroon ng isang hobby shop na katulad mo, since nabanggit mo na yung mga ibang tips sa ating mga viewers and sa ating mga hobbies, ano pa yung maibibigay mo pang karagdagang impormasyon para in case man na mapagdaanan man nila ang mga positive and negative na napag-usapan natin is still mapagpatuloy pa rin nila yung enjoyment ng hobby dito sa ating bansa and kung nasan man sila ngayon.
I think best advice is do your research. And you really got to be prepared to, like, you gotta you can't. Okay, let me break this down to parang couple of parts, right? One is that do your research kung sino ang audience mo or sino yung mga customers mo. Kasi and then for example, if you know that they like a certain, if they like a certain ano ba yun? If they like a certain type of product, you got to make sure na you're catering for them. You can't buy for yourself, right? And you can't buy for yourself. You have to make sure that the stock you get in is for them. Like for example, I can't stand the freedom or the strike freedom suits, but I get a lot of it in because my customers love it. It's become a meme. It's become a community meme here in Australia that I absolutely cannot stand the freedom and the strike freedom because I just don't like the design. Pero even though I don't like it, I bring it in because everybody wants it. Then two, you got, like what I said, and that's the second thing, is don't ever buy for yourself. You buy as what you're providing a service to your customers. So you got to make sure that what you have is what they want, right? And another thing that nung ginawa ko yung shop ko, the answer is, Ryan, do you have this? My answer should always be yes, if it's related to the product because they're looking for something. You got to have it here. That's why yung my range is very. I put a lot of thought into it because if just that's what you're doing, right? You're buying for your customer. You're not buying for yourself. Yeah, do your research and prepare to work hard and just love what you do. Because if you love what you do, it's not work. That's and you gotta have self-belief, right? And you can't be going into this na para yatang gusto ko or I think I can do this. You gotta be sure. You gotta be absolutely sure that you want this because if not, then you're not gonna survive. I think that's probably it. And just like I said, know your customer better than they know themselves. Actually, that's a good one. Know your customers better than they know themselves. Kasi sometimes I'm ordering stock. Pro tip to pro tip. So I get to know all my customers. Then I'll look at something, sabi ko, I'm gonna get this in. What's the Filipino word? Pustahan tayo na bibili niya to. Is that right? Is that right? Is that the Tagalog word? Like, I'm going to make a bet that I'm going to order this and he's going to buy it because I know them. My customers are not, yeah, I'm good with people. I think I'm good with, I'm good with sort of just like knowing my customers. So if I know my customers, I know what stock to buy for them, if that makes sense. Right?
Tsaka,
So
sir, diba,
a lot of my purchasing,
Tsaka sir, di ba, sorry to interrupt, di ba, na to add to that, especially sa mga nagtatrabaho rin sa mga toy stores, di ba, na lagi kong sinasabi rin na hindi baling matagal, may onting katagalan yung nakakausap mo yung customer. Basta una, hindi naman ganun karami yung customer. Pangalawa, ang importante yung tiwala at yung connection. Kasi diba,
absolutely.
Pag once kasi na nakita ng isang consumer or ng isang customer na mahalaga ka sa kanya, hindi niya papansinin ang presyo. Ang magiging importante at the end of the day is the service that you provide. Tama
service. Ba? Service is king, guys. Like if you're into it, service is king, and you got to be attentive, and you need to be good with people. Kasi sometimes not everyone wants to talk when they come to my shop. I'm very talkative, as you can tell, right? I never shut up. Dal-dal, di ba? Tama ba yun? Is that the word? Dal-dal, right? So, and I can read a customer that sometimes they just want to come here, browse quietly. You got to read the room. That's a saying here in Australia, or I guess everywhere. Read the room, know your customer well, and get to know their name. I'm so bad with names. That's why when I meet my customers first, I say, listen, what's your name? Look, I'm really bad with names, but just remind me when I see you next, because I really want to get to know everybody, right? And because I want to get them to know in the first, and it's not just talking about this. So when I get to know my customers, I talk about what other things they do, what sort of hobbies they like. You know, I try to sort of get to know them more than they like. If you get to know them more than they know themselves, it's actually easier. It's easier to recommend something to them. Kasi alam mo na, di ba? If you already know, then there's no guessing. I said you want this, or and that's how I do my purchasing decisions with certain stock. That this so and so gugustuhan niya yan. But then doesn't matter because if they don't buy it, I know other people that will also like it. So you got to be strategic, and you got to have stuff that turns over fast, and you got to have stuff what I call, kasi you got to make sure turnover mo mabilis, di ba? Pero you got to have the things that are there that's like what you call wow items. Mm-hmm. Ano yan? Like wow, look at this. I'll never be able to afford it, but Rhypla has it. And then one day somebody with big wallet will go, I don't care what that is, I'll take that. A $700 kit. Yeah. It's just that's why I tell my customers, right? I'm not selling you anything. I just have it here. It's up to you to buy it.
Pick your poison.
I just got to make sure I have the stock. And plus I know the stock. So and that's really the best way to do it. But you got to have a balance. You can't just have the really crazy high-end items. You got to have price range for everybody, because I've got my target demographic is kids to adults, to grandparents that actually, I've got grandparents that build Gunpla that come to my shop, Lolo and Lolas.
Ayan. So, sir, to close this podcast or to end this podcast po,
Yep.
meron po ba kayong gustong pasalamatan, i-shoutouts, or meron po ba kayong gustong i-promote po? Bibigyan ko po kayo ng time to promote or pasalamatan yung mga gusto nyong banggitin dito sa ating podcast. So, take it away, sir.
All right. So I think some of my community here in Australia is watching. This is the first time they've heard me speak in Tagalog. I can see you all there, like Paul's there, and then a few other guys. Kasi they were laughing at me because we finally get to hear Ryan speak in Tagalog. So thank you for my Rhypla Builds community. I call them my Rye pals. Rye pals. What's cracking, Rye pals? That's always a thing. And look, thank you for having me in the show, diba? And I'm hope that I wasn't all over the place, and I hope I provided some value to your viewers. And thanks for reaching out. John Paul, he was the one who told me, hey, you want to get into that? So yeah, sure, I'm happy with the thing. And everybody else that my mentors, find yourself a mentor as well. If you find yourself a good mentor that can teach you the right thing, that will be good for you in a business. And my mentor Mike Wall, he was like the owner of Hobbyco, and I miss him a lot, and he's like a father to me. But then he's kind of semi-retired now, and he's got other people running the shop. Who else is there? I guess my parents and everybody that supports the shop. And then if you're in Australia, in Sydney, Rhypla Builds, Unit 2, number 40, Railway Parade, Kogarah. 15-minute train ride from the city of Sydney. If you're visiting Sydney and you're from Philippines, definitely come down. Baka naman. Baka naman. Punta naman kayo dito sa Rhypla Builds. So, I mean, I've got a big Filipino community around this area, so they do come here. Pero if ever you guys are in Sydney, please drop in. Come say hello, and then you never know. I'll bring some Red Horse, so you can can have a few drinks. I don't mind. I don't mind a drink. So, but that's it really. If you do want to follow me on my YouTube channel, just look it up. Just do a search on Rhypla Builds Vlogs, and you'll find my name is Ryan San Pedro. I'm there, but then my Rhypla Builds official channel. Follow my social media, Instagram. I gotta get into that because I'm neglecting that a little bit. My Facebook's mainly, and that's about it really. Thank you very much for having me, and it was fun. And if you ever need to do another podcast or a chat, I'm always up for anything. So anything for a bit of fun. And I miss the Philippines. I miss Jollibee. Damn it, I miss Jollibee. Chicken Joy, Palabok, all of that stuff, man. You know what? 7 years na ako hindi nakakauwi, and I really miss Jollibee. And like those street food. I miss Quiapo. Because I'm a Manila boy, right? So I grew up in Manila when I was a kid. So the street foods and stuff like that, I really, really love that. I miss. So I'm hoping to go home sooner rather than later. Plus, and hope to meet you and whoever your community. Just tell me. I'll let you guys know if I'm in town. Then magpapa-lechon tayo.
Ayan, so sir, maraming salamat po sa inyong time na naibigay po sa amin. And I hope, sir, ng ating napag-usapan dito sa Usapang Hobby is marami pong natutunan ang ating mga viewers, lalo na sa mga nangangarap na magkaroon ng sariling hobby shop. So, sir, maraming salamat po and good evening po sa inyo. Okay,
thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And sorry baka na nosebleed kayo English kasi hirap eh. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Have a good one, guys. And as always, can I get a hell yeah? That's my catch call. Hell yeah. See you guys.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
See ya.
Yan. So, isa na namang panibagong kabanata ang natapos dito sa ating podcast na Usapang Hobby. So, ako po'y nagpapasalamat at I hope po sa ating mga nanonood ay marami po kayong natutunan dito sa aming napag-usapan ni Mr. Rhyan Pedro aka Rhypla. At lagi nating tatandaan na ang ating mga pangarap sa buhay matutupad yan. Basta as long as gusto natin yung ginagawa natin, mahal natin to, pinagpupursigihan natin, at moving forward na ang ating mga pinaghirapan is magbubunga rin yan ng maganda para sa atin. As long as tama, maayos, at yung pangarap natin sa buhay is ini-involve natin lahat, ang ating pamilya, kaibigan, lalo na ang ating Panginoong Diyos. So before we end this podcast, huwag kalimutan na mag-subscribe sa aking YouTube channel, Verge Kevin Umali, and also we can follow my Facebook page, SILVERGE'S Toys and Gunpla Family, para maging updated kayo sa mga upcoming kong toys or Gunpla reviews. So hanggang dito na lang tayo guys. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga nanood. Happy collecting and God bless. See you next time dito sa Usapang Hobby. Maraming salamat po.